Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma. My name is Julia. I'm one of the facilitators of this magnificent community of practitioners. For the month of October in the Spokane Sangha, we have been exploring grounding practices, how to ground, how to center, how to calm down. And one of the reasons to explore this is in recognition of a couple of things. The first is that by virtue of being human, we are going to encounter situations, experiences, people that are going to be triggering for all the reasons that humans get triggered. We're also going to be activated for all the reasons that human beings get activated. And at that point, in the triggering activated experience of being human, we are presented with this quite empowering opportunity, which is lean into habit energy that's familiar and comforting, even when it brings misery, or do something else. And that something else is limited only by your imagination, which I think is quite empowering. And one of the things that we are doing as a community, one of the other things that we're doing is we're practicing, we're learning how to cope in a whole new way with the struggles and challenges that will erupt in our lives simply by being human. And one of the avenues that we can take is learn how to ground, learn how to center, learn how to pause and be with the waves of activation, a little bit like a pillar in the sea. And the waves can just wash over us. They can even shift the sands beneath our feet. But with these practices, we learn how to move with it. We're not fixed. When we're fixed, we fall over. But we learn how to move our toes, dig in, balance a little bit. So the waves that are coming over, removing the stability from underneath us, does not knock us over. And let's say it does. Let's say the wave is so big that we get knocked over. Let's say the wave is so big, we get knocked over and we get tumbled in the waves, so much so that our bathing suits come off. Thank you, Elle, for smiling. It happens. And it's like completely humiliating and horrifying and all the things. And then what do? Do we Do we crumble? Do we drown? What do we do? Most of us, if we're lucky enough, we get up, we pull our swimsuits back on, we kind of shake off, we look around, who saw that? And we reassure ourselves that we're okay, even despite the humiliation. Right beside the humiliation, right beside the upheaval, that happened. I'm okay. That's a grounding practice, friends. It's so amazing just to be able to tell ourselves that. That happened. I did not like that. That was horrifying. I'm okay. Amazing. So, with all of that preface, that's what we've been looking at this month. And I have been bringing awareness to the body as a source of grounding, as really the source of enormous spiritual, metaphoric, physical centering. And so, what I've done is each week I've focused on a different part of the body connected to the chakra system in the Hindu tradition, which the Buddha would have been well versed in. So, at the beginning of the month, we explored the crown chakra, the third eye, the throat. The second week, we focused on the solar plexus, the core of the body. This week, we've been dabbling with the sacral chakra, which is the area of the body that is below the navel, so lower belly, low intestines. This is about elimination. So all of the parts of the body designed for excreting waste, eliminating waste. It's also an entry point for pleasure and procreation. It's also the place of all of our reproductive organs. Spiritually and metaphorically, it is the place of creativity and passion. It is the pelvic basin. And one of the things I spoke to yesterday, an image that I brought forward that I'd like to continue today, is the image of a bowl. And I'm just holding my hands here like a bowl. And I'd really like you in your practice today to put your hands in a bowl. You can even put your hands in front of you as if you're hugging a tree as a size of your bowl. But what I want you to focus on is the bowl isn't up here by your chest, as I'm demonstrating in this video. The bowl that you're holding is lower. So you're going to rest your hands. It's out of the view of my video screen. You're going to rest your hands on your thighs as we meditate this. So make a bowl, but bring that bowl down so that you can connect to the bowl that is your pelvis. And just have your body in that posture. So let's take a moment and put the body into a very specific posture for our reflection and our meditation. So palms are facing up to receive, and your elbows are a little extended out away from your body, and maybe your shoulders, rather than rolled back, they're a little bit forward as if to give your body a curved sensation so that you can make a bowl shape with your arms and hands. And just allow this to become a container that is external to your physical body. The sacral chakra, the pelvic basin, is a bowl, a container. And we are making that also outside of our bodies. And in this container is everything, the good and the bad, the black and the white, the positive and the negative, the light and the dark, the extreme and the minimal, the ecstasy and the despair, the joy and sorrows, the clarity and confusion. All of it is in that bowl. And I like to think of the practice as almost like a little spoon. Maybe it's a spoon you've made out of a piece of wood. You've taken the time to carve it. And what you're doing is, rather than a stirring, typical stirring motion, which is really a metaphor for the way that we're triggered and we're activated, we're stirred. And the intention of this stirring is to bring to the surface those things that we would rather ignore, those things that settle to the bottom of the bowl that we don't see. And so we stir it up. We get stirred by other people, by situations and experiences. And rather than blame the spoon for stirring up our stuff, which we do all the time. I can't believe that person said this, that, and the other thing. Why was this person such an ass? I can't believe this situation happened. And really, we're neglecting what's actually stirring to the surface. That's what needs our attention. When we come to the pelvis, however, and when we come to the sacral chakra, it's not a stir that we're working with. It can be, but for today's purpose, let's make it a different kind of movement. And let's treat it like a fold and a mixing. And so when you make a cake, you don't rapidly stir the batter. You fold in all the various, very different ingredients, flour and eggs, completely different entities, and you fold them together. Very gentle stirring, very intentional. But all of those ingredients together, all of those seemingly unrelated things, come together and make something completely new and extraordinary. You have that capacity within your own body and in your own practice. So you can put into your bowl the goodness, the negativity, the shadow, the brightness, the misery, the confusion, the clarity, the shame, the guilt, the liberation, the forgiveness, the resentments, everything, and fold it in. This is what is making you. This is what is comprising of you. It's mixing together to make you a whole you, divine and human. Take a moment. See how that lands. What are you folding in? What are you afraid to fold in? You see, in the West, we have a habit energy of keeping these qualities, keeping these experiences so separate. And we have a tendency to compartmentalize them in just one of two places. Something is either this or it's that. And this dualistic mindset is a source of enormous suffering. And this is something the Buddha explored all of his life, taught about. It's not to say these dualistic extremes don't exist. They do. And what's in between them, when they come together, these pairs of opposites, something else is happening too. So in between the good and bad, there's all this gray. There's all of this other stuff that's complicated and extraordinary and awaiting our attention. So, for instance, let's make this relevant to the journey of recovery. Many people who come to practice are here because they've experienced a negative consequence. People who have been arrested, people who are about to lose their jobs, they've been reported, people who are ordered by the courts, people who feel bossed around by their family and friends. And there are some people who are here because they feel hopeless. They've tried everything. This was a last-ditch effort to try to understand why the habit energy is so strong. And whatever the reason is, it's often pretty harsh and it feels bad. And yet, invariably what happens is people start to experience over time a little bit of recovery, a little bit of clarity. Recovery in the Buddhist point of view is not only abstaining from a habit energy, it is the clarity that comes forward. It is the understanding that begins to emerge. It is the curiosity and the wonder that returns in place of fear and anxiety. There's this, huh, wow, would you look at this? Why am I thinking this? Instead of being afraid of a craving, I'm now curious about it. I wonder what's activating this craving. I don't have to act on it, but I can be curious about it. And maybe in my curiosity, I'll understand it. And maybe in my understanding, it will be less threatening, less powerful. And over time, my ability to respond to it rather than react becomes greater, more discerning, more friendly. And I begin to experience less misery and more ease. But I can't do that if I'm constantly taking the ingredients of this awareness out of my bowl. No craving in here. I'm not allowed to look at that. I'm not allowed to admit it. I don't want to. I don't want to look at the shame. I don't want to look at the regret. I don't want to have the discomfort. This triggering feels terrible. I don't want it. We deny ourselves the opportunity to create something new the more we try to leave out certain ingredients. So we have this giant bowl of creativity and passion. We are, each of us, creators of life. The body tells you that. Each of us has the capacity to create life. And it's not just human life. We have the capacity to bring to life new ideas, new concepts, new words, new ways of connecting, new ways of seeing, new ways of being. We are here in this life to create. It's extraordinary. It's such an amazing privilege. It's so very precious. So bring up your bowl. What's in there? It's all your memories, your ancestors' history, the experiences of the past, informing the present, allowing new possibilities for the future. But we have to learn to fold in everything. This is the practice of equanimity. It's to include it all. Nothing is wasted. All of your failed attempts at recovery are in there, and they are not wasted. They become the spice and the depth of what new thing is trying to emerge. Keep folding it in gently, reverently. And maybe as an actual practice today or this weekend or something, when the next time all right. So we're going to have a little homework assignment for everyone. And if you want to take pictures of your efforts and email them to me, I'd be so grateful. You can find our email address on the website. So your homework is, at some point in the next little while, whenever it comes into your consciousness and you go to cook something, you go to make something, and it requires a bowl and a utensil. Your homework is to notice. Notice the shape of the bowl. Notice the material that you're drawn to. Take a moment to look deeply. Think about the woodmaker. Think about the glass. Think about the clay, whatever it is. Think about the plastic, the factory workers. They're just like you. Think about the utensils that you've chosen, a spatula or a spoon, a fork, the metal, the wood, again, the plastic, whatever it is. Take a moment and allow your mind to wander just beyond the task. And then as you start to prepare whatever it is that you're making, make sure that you offer yourself an opportunity to enact the difference between stirring and actually activating and agitating in that circular stirring motion or even a whisking motion. Again, none of this is bad. These are just different ways to mix your ingredients, right? We don't have to judge whisking somehow better than stirring. It becomes nonsensical. It's just a different way to mix. Or you can fold. Maybe your utensil is your hands and you're making bread and you're wanting to stir in those ingredients that way. Just notice the difference between stirring, the difference between folding, and just notice how that feels in your own body and what comes forward in your mind. Breathe and take a look at your ingredients. If you grew the ingredients yourself, if you went to the grocery store and picked it up, remember that there are countless people involved in every single ingredient that you have, and they are just like you. They want to be happy. They don't want to suffer. They don't want to be defined by a single negative quality. They'd rather be seen as a whole, complex human being, just like you, just like me. And then consider for a moment what you're preparing. And maybe you can even bring forward a mantra that serves as a blessing over your food. You know, by the energy of my hands, by the goodness of my heart, I am mixing together all of these different things for my well-being. And as I get well, may my being be of service for the wellness of others. What a thing to put in the world, people. So take a picture of what you're making and share it with friends. And see what happens to your mood and your mind. And maybe, just maybe, you'll tap into the limitless quality of joy. Let's go ahead and end our practice today with a dedication of merit. As we think about the body and the grounding practices, what came to my mind in kind of a funny way is I was imagining the Buddha. I imagined meeting the Buddha. And there's a saying that says, if you meet the Buddha, kill him. That's a very old, ancient saying. And it's really meant to encourage the mind that has a propensity to meet what we admire in others or even in ourselves. And in that admiration, we elevate it, we put it on a pedestal. And then by doing so, we begin to get jealous and we begin to experience resentment and all the things that happen, all the very human things. And so what we want to do is when we encounter things that we feel very inspired by, that we really deeply admire, we want to approach it very cautiously so that we don't get trapped in the distortions and we eliminate those habits. And so I was thinking about coming to the Buddha, meeting the Buddha, and thinking about sharing all of my negative storytelling and all of my self-doubt and all the habit energy. And I could see, I imagined the Buddha yawning in complete boredom, like, ugh, for Buddha's sake, Julia, stop being so boring. You're so much more than the worst qualities you think you possess. Get creative, Julia. Find your passion. Don't be afraid to bring to life something new. And that's the grounding teaching today. Don't be afraid to bring forward something new. And if you are afraid, then ground into the fear. See if you can extract the details of it. Where does it come from? Is it even yours? And then after all of that effort, go to a bowl and create, mix together something nurturing for your mind, your heart, your body, your spirit. And in all of those practices, you will be touching into something very ancient and something exceptionally well known that is coming alive, wanting to come alive in you. Thank you for your beautiful practice today, friends. You really are extraordinary inspiration for me and for this community. Have a great day. Namaste.